Okay guys, now we move on and we have multiple choice questions in part 2. So किस्मत खराब हो तो multiple choice part 1 में भी आ जाते हैं. Right? Multiple choice questions are like a nightmare. They can appear anytime, anywhere, right? So we've got multiple choice questions in part 2 and you can see options are long. So it's a good opportunity for us to learn about multiple choice questions. I'll give you a number of different tips, then I'll play the audio even twice. So just relax, calm down and try to understand how to deal with multiple choice questions. First of all, title is Angelia Sculpture Park. Now sculpture park is a park where they have sculptures. मुजस्समे लगे हुए इधर उधर park में, something like that. That is called sculpture park. Okay, now question number 11. Now listen, in multiple choice questions, your success lies not in finding the right answer, but eliminating the wrong answer. There are 3 choices. 2 choices are wrong, 1 choice is right. So if you only focus the right choice, you will miss it. But if you focus the wrong choices and cross them or eliminate them, then your chances for success are very high. So elimination is the best way to deal with multiple choice questions. I'll tell you how. Question number 11. The land where sculpture park is located was previously. Now listen. Land where sculpture park is located was previously. पहले वहाँ पे क्या हुआ करता था? You know, sometimes people say जिथे थोड़ी कोठी है ते छप्पड़ हुंदा सी. Something like that, okay? Yeah. So क्या हुआ करता था? That's actually the main thing. Located was previously. Completely covered by forest. Just underline covered by forest. Like you say, यहाँ पे जंगल हुआ करता था. Something like that. B. Site of a private house. Site of private house. Private house means somebody owned that house. Private house. Occupied by a factory. Occupied by factory. Now understand, previously what used to be there. Sculpture park is located. What was there in the past? That would be your answer. Now whatever they said, some people believe it used to be the covered area, but that's not right. Will A be the answer? No, if say some people believe, okay, some people thought it was the part of a private house or site of a private house, but in fact we don't have any evidence for that. So even that is not the right answer, okay? Just focus. Now I play the audio and one more thing. A, B, C, all 3 options will be discussed in random order. Questions are in order, but within the questions, the options A, B, C, they are not in order. So let's start. Question number 11.
You will hear a guide at an outdoor sculpture park talking to a group of visitors.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Anglia Sculpture Park. Right, well the idea behind the sculpture park is that it's a place where works of art such as large sculptures and carvings can be displayed out of doors in a natural setting. As you'll have noticed when you drove here, most of the land around the park is farmland. The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces, who had made a lot of money from manufacturing farm machinery and who also owned substantial stretches of forest land to the north of the park. They built a house in the centre of the park, not far from where we're standing now, but this burnt down in 1980 and the De Quinces then sold the land.
Wow. What a confusing question, huh? They talked about factory, they talked about private house, they talked about forest. So B, anyone? B, okay, very good. The correct answer is actually B, site of a private house, right? I'm going to play this one again. Please listen carefully.
You will hear a guide at an outdoor sculpture park talking to a group of visitors.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Anglia Sculpture Park. Right, well the idea behind the sculpture park is that it's a place where works of art such as large sculptures and carvings can be displayed out of doors in a natural setting. As you'll have noticed when you drove here, most of the land around the park is farmland. The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces, who had made a lot of money from manufacturing farm machinery and who also owned substantial stretches of forest land to the north of the park. They built a house in the center of the park, not far from where we're standing now.
Okay, they built a house in the center of the park, not far from where we are standing now. So where they are standing, that was their private house. And about this forest, they said in the north and all around. So forests are not where actually the sculpture park is. And they had a factory, but they did not mention the location of the factory, right? Okay, question number 12. So for 11B is the right answer. Question number 12. What is unusual about the Anglia Sculpture Park? Unusual. For unusual, they might use the word unique. Now listen, 3 options. With one option, they will use the word unique, marvelous, amazing. What is special about this park is this. So what is unusual about Anglia Sculpture Park? Option A, artists have made sculptures especially for it. Made sculptures especially for it. Means artists made sculpture for the park especially. Option B, some of the sculptures were donated by the artist. Sculptures donated by artists. Underline, sculptures donated by artists. Option A, sculptures specially made for it. Option C, it only shows contemporary sculptures. Contemporary means of the time. Contemporary art, art of the time. Right? So, contemporary sculpture, option C, underline that. Now let's see.
The Anglia Sculpture Park isn't the only one in the country. Several of the London parks sometimes display contemporary sculptures, and there are a couple of other permanent sculpture parks in England. But we're unique in that some of our sculptures were actually created for the sites they occupy here.
We are unique. Some of the sculptures were actually created for the site here. Created for the site means made especially for it. I play this again. Listen.
The Anglia Sculpture Park isn't the only one in the country. Several of the London parks sometimes display contemporary sculptures, and there are a couple of other permanent sculpture parks in England. But we're unique in that some of our sculptures were actually created for the sites they occupy here. And we also show sculptures by a wider range of artists than anywhere else in the country.
Okay? So they were created. And by the way, for unusual, they use the word unique. So with the option, they use the word unique. That is your answer. Question number 13. What is the theme of Joe Tremaine burnt sculpture? Now they have a burnt sculpture. What is the theme of that? Option A, contrast between nature and urban life. Just underline contrast, nature, urban life. Option B, effect of man on the environment. Effect of man on environment. Option C, violence of nature. For violence, they can use any word, ferocity, cruelty, cruel, and all that. So let's see, what is the theme of Joe Tremaine's burnt sculpture? They will talk about Joe Tremaine. Burnt sculpture is the name of sculpture, Jala hua sculpture. So what is the theme of that?
For example, at present we have an exhibition by Joe Tremaine of what he calls burnt sculptures. These are wood and stone sculptures that he's carved and marked with fire to illustrate the ferocity and intensity of the forces that have shaped our planet over millions of years.
See that he used the word ferocity and intensity of the forces that shaped our planet millions of years ago. So that shaped our planet means that is the part of nature. Ferocity and intensity, that is violence. So option C is the right answer. Question number 14. Sure.
For example, at present we have an exhibition by Joe Tremaine of what he calls burnt sculptures. These are wood and stone sculptures that he's carved and marked with fire to illustrate the ferocity and intensity of the forces that have shaped our planet over millions of years. They look really dramatic in this rural setting.
Okay? Ferocity, intensity, and all that. Question number 14. The path by the lower lake Now they have a path. Now just imagine there is a lake. Lower lake means नीचे जाके एक झील आती है, right? So path by the lower lake is rather wet in some places. Underline wet. रास्ता गीला है. Path is wet. Option B has recently been repaired. Recently repaired. Imagine path. रास्ता जो है उसको अभी रिपेयर की है. And option C, difficult to walk. So what is about the path? Is it wet? Is it or has it been recently repaired, or is it difficult to walk?
To see some of the sculptures, you'll need to follow the path alongside the lower lake. We had to renovate this after the lake overflowed its banks a couple of months ago and flooded the area. The water level's back to normal now, and you shouldn't have any trouble. The path's very level underfoot.
B, exactly, has recently been repaired. He said we had to renovate it. Now repair and renovate, they are synonyms. Okay, B is the right answer. Question number 15. What does the speaker say about the visitor center? They have a visitor center. What does the speaker say? Means speaker's opinion about visitor center. So what does the speaker say about visitor center? It is being enlarged at present. Being enlarged at present means they are going to extend it. Being enlarged means usko bada kiya ja raha hai. So for that they can use the word extend. Or they can say we are going to add another floor to it. Being enlarged means we are going to add another floor to it. Option B, it has received an international award. So for international award they can use any word like global award, right? Or they can name the award. Option C, it was designed by Canadian architect. Designed by Canadian architect. Now it's all about visitor center. Option A is being enlarged. Option B is international award, and option C is designed by Canadian architect.
You should be back at the visitor centre at about 4 o'clock. If you have time, it's worth taking a look at the centre itself. It's not possible to go upstairs at present, as builders are working there adding another floor, but the rest's well worth seeing. The architect was Guy King. He was actually born in this part of England, but he recently designed a museum in Canada that won a prize for innovation in public buildings.
Yeah, he wrote one answer, then he said, when you heard the word Canada, he said, ek hi ho gaya. Right? Now, he was born in this part of England, but recently he designed something in Canada. So he is not Canadian, right? C is a trap. The right answer is B. Very good. I play it again. Wrong. Listen again. B is not the right answer. या हुन कुछ ते होएगा ही ना. Yeah, तू A कहीं मैं B कहांगा, तू C कहीं क्लास दी इज्जत बच जाएगी. Okay? Yes. I play it again.
You should be back at the visitor centre at about 4 o'clock. If you have time, it's worth taking a look at the centre itself. It's not possible to go upstairs at present, as builders are working there adding another floor. But the rests...
Builders are working there adding another floor. What are they doing? They are enlarging it at present. Right? Builders are working there adding another floor means it is being enlarged at present. Builders are working. Are working and being enlarged. Both are present continuous tense. A is the right answer. Now I tell you, some of you selected B? Yes. All right, let's see. Why B?
Well worth seeing. The architect was Guy King. He was actually born in this part of England.
Guy King is architect. He was actually born in this part of England. So C cannot be the answer. It was designed by a Canadian architect. He is not Canadian. He is English. Okay? So C should be crossed. Now let's talk about B.
But he recently designed a museum in Canada that won a prize for innovation.
He designed a museum in Canada that won a prize. This is not related to visitor center. He designed a museum in Canada and that museum won the prize, not the visitor center. So, bhole bhale bachcho, the correct answer is A, right? Yes, Syappa, haan, bahar jana keda aasan hai. और वहाँ जाके आगे कौन सी आसानी, आगे केड़ी बेबे बैठी है जो कहेगी मेरा बच्चा आ गया, रोटियां बना के दूँ एंड ऑल दैट. ओके, लेट्स सी. Question number 16. Today, visitors can buy snacks and sandwiches. Now, let's see, visitors can buy snacks and sandwiches where? कहाँ पे खरीद सकते हैं? The word is snacks, not snakes. Option A, at the kiosk. Now, kiosk is a small shop. In other words, you can understand, we call it khoka. You know khoka? Small shop where you can buy things. So, kiosk is a khoka. Yeah. B, terrace room. C, lower lake cafe. Now, visitors can buy snacks and sandwiches, and there is one location where you can buy that, right? For example, if they say, we have a nice kiosk, but I'm afraid at the moment it is closed. So, kiosk is out, right? Then they say, there used to be a terrace room which used to sell these things, but it is closed for renovation. इधर भी नहीं मिलेगा, ठीक है? So where you can buy snacks, that will be the answer. Question number 16.
If you want to get something to eat when you get back, like a snack or a sandwich, the terrace room is currently closed. But you can go to the kiosk and buy something, then sit on one of the chairs overlooking the lower lake and enjoy the view as you're eating.
A, very good. Kiosk. They talked about terrace room, but then it said it's closed, right? And lower lake where you can eat it. वहाँ पे सिर्फ खा सकते हैं, मिलेगा नहीं. All right, good.